Hey storytellers, this is a very quick tutorial to give you an idea of the process of mixing visual effects with your stop motion animations. So before I begin, I want to make it clear that I won't really be talking about the process of animating in this tutorial. That's for another video completely. I'll mostly be talking about the process of applying the visual effects and how to plan for incorporating those effects into your animation. Okay, with that being said, let's get started. The number one thing you need to do before beginning your animation is planning. Try to think about where you want the visual effects to go in your scene before you even start to shoot your animation. And the next thing you need to think about is if you actually have access to the visual effects that you want to use in your scene. So after you've planned out your animation and found your visual effects to match what you wanted to do in your video, then it's time to start animating. After you've finished your animation and you've assembled everything into a video, that's when it's time to start adding your effects. It might be easier to do these in separate projects and to first export your animation as a video, then bring that into a new project before you start trying to mess around with adding visual effects. So let's see what my project looks like for this little animation. As you can see, there's the original video, the original exported animation on the bottom layer, then the visual effects layered on top. And this is a very simple example of how all visual effects are done in all movies. You start with what was filmed on set, then add things on top in layers. And as you layer things on top, it's actually concealing what's beneath it. And this is what's referred to as compositing. So let's take a closer look at my project. Here are my three main layers of effects: the laser blaster effect, the smoke and explosion effect, and the burn mark effect. The explosions and blasters are actually digital assets that I found for this project and downloaded and imported into the project. But the burn mark I created manually, and I'll show you how I did that in a second. So when you're dealing with the assets, they often don't match up with your scene right away. You often have to find a way to manipulate them to match them as best as possible to your scene. As you can see here, the blaster laser starts at a very different shape than when I finish, and likewise for the explosion. And it's as simple as cropping, resizing, and some transformations to move it to a different location on screen. So as I said, the way I did the burn mark on the table was a bit different. I basically had to duplicate the original video, then crop out a piece of that video with my masking tool where it looked like the laser would hit the table. Then I just turned down the brightness on that duplicated layer to make it look like the table was burned. It's not perfect, but it doesn't have to be. And that's pretty much it. I hope you learned something that'll help take your digital storytelling videos to the next level. If you'd like to see another example of this technique of creatively using the masking tool, you should definitely check out my video on making a futuristic jail cell effect. And if you're completely new to adding visual effects to your projects, definitely check out my easy visual effects video. Feel free to leave me a comment below if you have any questions, and I'll do my best to get back to you. And don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video.